With Martin Dagenais, the Ottawa Junior Senators, and Martin coming off the victorious season last year, 2017-18, obviously you kind of got off to a slow start, but some pretty good progression through the year.
Yeah, obviously the start was not what we wanted, but we kind of knew that it would take time for us to figure things out, and we only have 8 returnees from last season, so it's a big turnaround. And I think after Christmas we really started to play the type of hockey that we want to play every single night, and finished a year on a 8-game winning streak. And we felt ready to go come playoff time. We played some good hockey against Canada. We weren't great. We were very good, and we know it's going to take our best now to be able to beat Brockville.
Yeah, kind of a reversal of fortunes towards the end of the season. You just mentioned you go on an 8-game winning streak. The Braves winless in 7. That cost them home ice in this series. Round 1 against Canada. In your eyes, what was that series like?
It was tighter than the people might say. It was a 5-game series. Yeah, but it was a tight series. They played hard. They were well coached. We were able to contain their top line, and that was huge. And credit goes to Adrian Bissau and Bailey Brent. They were matched up against those 3 guys all series long. And obviously, to beat Canada, if you can stop their top line, it helps a lot. But all in all, it was tight because the goaltending on both sides was very good too, and we were fortunate to win Game 4 in triple overtime. And the next night we played them at home, and you could see that they had nothing left, and we took advantage of that. And it was nice to be able to finish a series in 5, so we could rest and be ready for the Braves.
Pretty important to win those games, triple overtime, and again, I guess something like 83 shots on Carriere, but psychologically, quite an impact in those type of games. You really need to win them, and as you said, they had difficulty kind of regroup.
Yeah, and you know what? The first 2 years when we got to the finals against Carleton Place, we were 0-4 in overtime, and last year winning both games against CP, both overtime games against CP in the finals. I think it kind of gives you confidence going forward, and so far, like I said, we've won a game in triple overtime, and obviously Sunday we won in the second overtime, so we know we're not going to win every single overtime game, but it's a big boost when you can get the winner in an overtime period, and it gives you momentum for the next game.
What was that game like? It looked like shots 43-23. I mean, you can't, I don't know if there's a territorial difference there, how quantitative those shots were. But in generally speaking, what was that game like? Very close to the score line?
Yeah, it's the type of game that we're expecting. We're not going to win games 5-4, 6-5. I think both teams play a very similar system. We're both very structured defensively. We don't give up much. The top 4 in Brockville on the back end is really hard to beat. So it's really, really difficult for us to get to the net area. And we know Suya's going to make that first save. So our job is to find ways to get to the crease area and get on rebounds. And that's the difficult part when you have Mac, McVeigh, Jones, and Kerr on the other side. That being said, I think we did a pretty good job containing Fate's line, and that's a key for us, again, with Bissau and Brent on the back end and different guys getting the job done up front. But at the same time, like I said, we're a similar team to Brockville because even in overtime, both teams were running 4 lines. Both teams were using their 6th D-man, and a lot of good saves on both sides. So I think it's going to be a close series. I think the 43-23 is not something we expected, but again, a lot of those shots for us are coming from the outside because, like I said, it's very, very tough for us to get into the inside and get quality scoring chances. Same thing like in terms of odd man rush. There's practically nothing on both sides. So I expect another close, low-scoring game tonight.
How much different is this edition of the Junior Senators to compare to last year? I know you can't maybe compare them, but how different? What's the attributes, especially of this team? I mean, last year was kind of like an all-star crew in a lot of respects, but how different are those two teams?
Very different. The type of team that we have right now, I think, I don't want to say they work harder, but it's almost that. They have to work harder because we don't have the skill set up front, especially if you look at the power play that we had last year. I don't think we have that, but in terms of heart, character, and just knowing how to play the right way, we have a ton of guys that have come a long way this season and are now showing stuff that we weren't really expecting come playoff time. And you win with character. You need you need guys that play the right way in the playoffs. And the back end might not be as solid based on what we hear from people, but we think that our 16 men have been very good so far in the playoffs. Goaltending, I think with Boivard, we're fine. That it's a different atmosphere because last year everyone thought that it would be us and CP for sure in the finals, and people were talking about this in September. This year it's quite different. We don't have to find ways to motivate the guys every night. Because Brockville is just as good as we are. Rockland's good. CP, obviously, they're good every year. And I think Oxbury, until the last month, they were probably the best team in the league. So, I think it's really tight. I think it's good for the league. And our series and even the CP Rockland series, I expect both of them to go 6 or 7 games, which, again, a good thing for the league.
Thanks for doing this. As always, good luck tonight.
Thanks.
Martin Dagenais, the Ottawa Junior Senators.